What's going on, guys? Welcome to the weekly live stream. It is June 22nd, 2022. There's so much to talk about. UFC 276 is next week. UFC Vegas 57 is this week. Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. We got a bunch of great fights on that card as well. It's an underrated fight night card. These last two fight night cards have been pretty solid. I know I'm constantly complaining about it. So I appreciate you guys joining me. As always, we're creeping up on 4,000 subscribers, 3,621 subscribers. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to like the stream and share the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. What is going on, Gary Segal? Could you please surprise and shout out my wife Nicole in her 40th birthday? He went on vacation and I rocked my MMA Joey t-shirt. Boom. Happy birthday, Nicole. Happy 40th birthday. I hope Gary's treating you right. If he's not, let me know. Let me know. So, happy birthday. Thank you for the $5 donation, Gary. Thank you for being a member, Gary. I appreciate you, Gary. And I appreciate you getting the shirt, too. If anybody else wants an MMA Joey t-shirt, the link is down in the description. They're not that expensive. I don't make that much money off of them. But it's just a great way to support the channel, just knowing people are out there rocking the t-shirts. So, again, happy birthday to Gary's wife. So I hope that's what you want to, and everybody in the chat, throw in the chat right now. Everyone say happy 40th birthday, Nicole. Everyone throw that in the chat right now. You guys know I love doing that. So there you go. Okay. And by the way, guys, sorry I'm a little bit late. I lost track of time and I got home like 5 minutes ago. So sorry about that. We usually almost always start at 6. Gary again, thanks Joey. I'm a member and it's legit my first time watching and participating live. I'm happy to have you here, man. I'm happy to have you here. And thank you again for the donation, man. We're going to have a good live chat. We're going to talk about Nate Diaz versus Dana White. I put that in the title, as well as Tsarukyan Gamrot, as well as UFC 276. But we can really talk about whatever you guys want, as always. So just put some questions in the chat. Constantly Growing says, happy B-Day, Nicole. Afternoon, Blatant Express. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. MK, thanks for being a member. Happy birthday, Nicole. Hey, look at all the hey, happy 40th, Nicole. There you go, Gary. I hope you got your $5 super chat worth, man. MMA Joey, Khamzat is overrated. Khamzat was just about to handle a 3-round fight with Burns and was just about able to handle a 3-round fight with Burns and was tapped in sparring. I think that Khamzat is not... that's a tough question. My personal perception of Khamzat is that he is an elite level fighter, worthy of potentially being able to win a welterweight title against Kamaru Usman or Colby Covington or whoever's at the top when he gets there. But I do understand the people saying he's a 3-division champion are vastly over-exaggerating and just gobbling Khamzat nonstop. But I think people are over-exaggerating what happened in the Burns fight. Khamzat went out there, put on a high pace. It was straight up insanity. Of course, the guy's going to get tired. I don't know about sparring. I don't know what exactly you're referring to. But I have a video on Khamzat Chimaev being overrated. So, Blatant says, happy 40th birthday, Nicole. Happy birthday, Nicole. Bro, how crazy is it going to be hearing yourself on the countdown? Oh my! So for those of you guys who don't know, who haven't seen the community post or anything, I read a comment from about ESPN here, but not ESPN. UFC emailed me and asked me to use a clip from my video about Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France at UFC 277, and they said it will be featured in the UFC 277 countdown, which will come out in about 3 weeks or so, I believe. It's going to be insanity. It's absolute insanity. I never imagined the UFC would be emailing me. It's 100% legit. And of course I gave them permission. It's probably only going to be like a 3-5 second clip. You know, in the beginning of the countdowns, when they try to set the scene of the fight and they'll play a bunch of different clips from media, my guess is somewhere in there's going to be a sentence or two from me. So it's not like my face is going to be plastered on there, but it will say on the bottom of the countdown, courtesy of MMA Joey. I guarantee that. But for me, it's surreal. It doesn't really mean, in the grand scheme of things, does it really mean all that much? Not really, but for me, I'm super pumped. Everyone in the community is super pumped. I must have got, 50, 100 comments, on the community post, which people really don't care too much about community posts on YouTube, saying, congratulations, this is awesome, can't wait. Who would have thought we'd be uttering the words, I can't wait for UFC 277 countdown? You know what I mean? A lot of people have complained about UFC 277 in general, and now people are hyped for the countdown. And so am I. I can't wait. I cannot wait. But who knows what it'll be. It's probably going to literally be like 2 seconds. But it's still pretty cool that my name is going to be attached to an official UFC countdown. And I hope this means there's more to come. When these producers and these people go out and they build these countdown shows, my guess is they find people that they can get decent clips from, and they just probably go back to them over and over. So my guess is this is the first of a few times that this will happen. So I'll let you guys know. Happy birthday, Nicole. Who would you take between O'Malley and Yanez? It's tough because Yanez does get clipped up a bit and O'Malley does have nasty power. Probably O'Malley, but I think it'd be a tough fight, and I could change my mind after watching some tape. I mean, Khamzat was overrated only because people thought he was untouchable and a world beater. In that sense, he's overrated because he's not a god. Couldn't have said it better myself, constantly growing. Me and you are right on the same page. Thoughts on Volk saying he wants to move up to 55 after the Max fight? I like to see dominant champions, guys. I like to see a dominant champion. I don't know. But, I mean, I guess he deserves it. The guy has sat around and defended his belt for quite a while. If anybody deserves to move up and get an immediate title shot, it's Alexander Volkanovski. If it's up to you, would you replace Ryan Clark from ESPN MMA? No, because from what I've seen, their picture quality is jack shit. It looks like they're using a webcam. So I couldn't attach my name to that. So if ESPN called me up and said, you want your own show? Which is never going to happen. But if it happened, I would look, we got to upgrade the quality. And I ain't doing no 480p. That is one thing that puts me off more than anything is bad picture quality. So how does Prime Woodley versus Leon Edwards play out? I think Edwards just beats him from range, lands from range, and wins by decision. That'd be my guess. I could even see Leon out-grappling him, honestly. Oh, my God. Congrats, Joey. Thank you, Muffy. Congrats, Joey, on the UFC clip. I know. I can't wait to see what it is. It's only going to be small. Again, it's nothing crazy, but we'll see. Joey, it means a ton. You're on the radar now, one step closer to that media path. Imagine that. Imagine I could get a media credential and go to the events, start interviewing people. I got to start doing more interviews before I can do that. But also, I don't know. The UFC's kind of selective. I'm never, ever in a million years for $1 million or whatever, I'm never going to bite my tongue for $1. I would never sell out for a UFC media pass. So if they were okay with what I said, I mean, it's not like I say anything too crazy. I'm just honest about what I see and, some of the negatives that I see the UFC and the way they treat certain fighters. So maybe it's still possible. I doubt they even pay attention that much. Opening part where you said we have breaking news could very well be. That's literally could be it. If Aljo moves up to featherweight, how does he do against the top 5? Let me take a look. See. Let me see the top 5. I got to pull up the rankings real quick. UFC rankings. But to answer your question, he probably loses to all of them. Okay. Let's take a look. He loses to Volk. He loses to Max. He loses to Brian Ortega. He could probably beat Yair just because Yair has some grappling deficiencies, and he's shown the ability to be taken down and controlled on the ground. But I still don't know if I'd pick him. I think Yair's dynamic striking. He may brutally KO Aljo. Calvin Kattar, I don't think he's beaten Calvin Kattar. Chan Sung Jung, maybe. I doubt it. Basically, I don't see him beating anybody. That's your answer to your question, my friend. That is the answer. Hold on one second. Okay. Let me turn my phone. I turned my phone on silent. Do you think Volkanovski will put away Max? Probably. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's very possible. They might do that fight instead of Islam Oliveira. If Volk wins, we may never get that fight. Dude, I don't want to see that. I want Islam versus Oliveira. I'd much rather that fight than Volk versus Oliveira for sure. Do you trust some MMA media accounts when they say per sources without mentioning the source? Absolutely not. And honestly, it's actually a really huge pet peeve of mine. Constantly being asked about, these fake reports from these fake Instagram accounts and these fake Twitters looking for just clout. They just throw shit at the wall. Maybe 1 out of 15 sticks, and then they just pretend it's theirs. Or they take vastly readily available news and they pretend like they got a scoop somewhere. So it's actually pretty annoying. There's only a few. So, I don't trust anything till I see it from a legitimate source, MMA Fighting, MMA Junkie, ESPN, somewhere along those lines. I got to go back and watch the vid and guess what they clip out. I have no idea. I went back and watched it. I have absolutely no idea what it'll be. Joey, are you a fan of Luke Thomas and his content, Morning Combat, Live Chat, etc.? Not really, but I used to be. So, I've never watched Morning Combat really. I've watched a little bit here and there, but never really watched it, a lot. I would say from 2012 to 2015-ish, I used to watch Luke Thomas, quite a bit. And right before he became the host of the MMA Hour. And maybe a year before that, I want to say I stopped watching him around the time Conor McGregor fought Eddie Alvarez. So I don't know what the timeline of that is for. It's been so long. But I used to watch him quite a bit. And then I felt like he was kind of shilling out for Conor and all this stuff. And it just really put me off. And then when he went and started doing the MMA Hour, I wasn't a big fan. And it's not that I don't like it. It's just not for me. And there's so much MMA media content out there that I believe is straight up garbage. I'm not saying that's them, but at least they're half decent, But I really don't watch any of it, to be honest. And people ask me all this time, do you watch these guys? Do you watch that guy? Do you watch this guy? I barely have enough time to record my videos and do the streams that I do now. I barely have enough time. So, to listen to others' opinions, I listen to James Lynch's Q&A usually every week. And also I have YouTube Premium, so I'll just listen to it in the background. I might be driving down the street, have it on, watching 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But I'm not watching a whole lot. But, again, they're one of the decent ones. The MMA Hour has decent fighter interviews. James Lynch has decent opinion and decent fighter interviews. Morning Combat, I don't know if they do interviews. I think they might do a little bit of interviews. They're okay, but it's just not for me. It's nothing wrong with them, just not for me. You know what I see happen, Joey? You replacing. Stop it, Bladen. Stop. You're trying to flatter me too much. Listen, guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor and like the stream. I would appreciate it if you guys like the stream. We have 30 people in here. We have 10 likes. So run up the likes on the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. And we'll continue on with the chat. And throw some questions in the chat. Let's see if any likes went up. Let's see. Oh, nope. Nobody wants to listen. Why is it you think the UFC does these tactics with expiring fighters like Nate? I understand they want to drop their value, but they would also be a detriment if they wanted to sign them back. Because they can reverse course at any time. So they can shit all over Nate Diaz 24/7. Dana White can say, well, look, the guy's won one fight in 6 years. Well, so has Conor McGregor. And it's been against an aging Cowboy Cerrone. Nate Diaz has better wins in the last 6 years than Conor McGregor, or last 5 years. He beat Anthony Pettis. I think that's a far superior win than an aging, brutally TKO'd 2 or 3 times in a row Cowboy Cerrone. So go shit on Conor. Nate Diaz, I get it. He's not going to be a champion. We're all well aware of that. But he can still compete at a high level. He went 5 rounds with Leon Edwards. I know he got beat up for 5 rounds, and he only had one moment in there, but that's up a weight class. He's just a lightweight, not cutting weight at this point. Nate Diaz is a fan-friendly fighter. He's a popular fighter. He's decently well-rounded. Obviously, the takedown defense, the wrestling deficiencies is an issue. But stop acting like this guy's, there's much lesser fighters on the roster. And Dana's actively trying to put him down. The reason they're doing it, and again, getting back to your original question, is because they can revert course. If they re-sign Nate Diaz for 5 fights, next thing you know, Dana will be pumping him up. The fans will forget like that. It happened so quick. It happened so quick, and it won't matter that he depromoted him. But if he does slip out and the UFC lets him go or whatever, they want to be able to do that because they want to devalue him as much as possible. Not only because they're not happy with the way they're interacting with the company, but because they don't want to help the competition. The way they look at it is, I built this star. I'm not saying this is true. Some cases it may be. I built this star. He's popular because of me, because of my promotion, and now I'm going to shit all over him on the way out. Because I don't want you to have, I don't want Bellator, I don't want PFL, I don't want, thou who shall not be named from YouTube Boxing. I don't want them, I want to get them as little shine as possible if they do sign him. So that's why they do it. It's disgusting, despicable, annoying, especially when a lot of people, myself included, I would love to see Nate Diaz get a couple more fights. There's so many fun fights. They selective match make so many fighters all the time and give them fun fights. Why not do that with Nate Diaz? Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 3. Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal 2. Nate Diaz, I mean, there's so many endless matchups. Nate Diaz, Michelle Pajeda. I know that's a random matchup that would never happen. There is fight after fight that not only would sell a lot of pay-per-views, but also that, would be, I don't want to say favorable to Nate, but much more favorable than Khamzat Chimaev. And that's another thing. And the media never calls out Dana White when he says these things that are just, they just go against each other. He's saying, oh, well, Nate's never going to be a champion. Nate's never going to fight Kamaru Usman. Well, then why'd you try to match him up with number 3 Khamzat Chimaev? Why'd you match him up with number 2 Leon Edwards? What's going on there? If he's never going to be a champion, then why are you, and I get it that he's never going to be a champion, but then why are you trying to matchmake him with the top of a division that he's never had consistent success in? And Nate Diaz has never had success at welterweight. He went up there years and years ago and got ragdolled by Rory McDonald. Kurt Angle slammed like 16 times. He's a lightweight that's refusing to cut weight. The UFC knows that. He wants out of his contract because he probably wants to go do some celebrity boxing, which actually makes me sad. I'd much rather see him fight in MMA. I want to see that Conor McGregor trilogy. I want to see a Tony Ferguson fight. And, it is what it is. I'm not going to spend any more time on it, but it's just disturbing. Dana and matchmakers are all pity MFers low-key. Okay, sure enough. Yo, Joe, what's going on? What's going on, Patty Mills? Did you see my UFC... Was it my UFC, the last week's post-fight? I throw a little word shit stain in the beginning for you. So if you haven't, go watch the post-fight from last weekend. I think Volk moving up makes sense because nobody really cares if Emmett gets a title shot and nobody else deserving. Yeah, but let Oliveira Islam happen first. That's what I would prefer. I got to take a drink. I'm thirsty already. Stephen A. Smith has the worst MMA takes. He doesn't have very good ones. But also, I do hate, and I've talked about this countless times before, when he says something that is accurate, the MMA community, the MMA media will shit on him anyway. Which I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I think if you're right, you're right. It doesn't matter if you're an idiot or not. So, thoughts on Ali Abdelaziz saying Usman beats Deanne Glover Yuri? Really? I really got to get into that. Ali Abdelaziz is just... He's a Skip Bayless of managers. He's just throwing out ridiculous shit trying to promote his fights. Yuri would brutalize Kamaru Usman. He would stuff his takedowns and then brutally KO him and ruin Usman's career at 35 years old. Remember when John Jones shut down Luke Thomas at a press conference? Had to be like 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, I do. I do remember that. It was hilarious. I was watching old fights from Arman and Gamrot. This is going to be a crazy fight. I agree. People are shitting on it as a main event. It's a great fight. Cerrone won against Pettis, in my opinion. He got stopped. Oh, wasn't there a second fight? Wasn't there a second fight? I don't remember the second fight. I remember the first one. He got stopped by a body kick. Nate is a legend. Josh Emmett, exciting fighter, boring-ass personality, too stern. Okay. Is Thiago Santos versus Jamal Hill main event worthy, and does Thiago deserve another main event? Definitely not, and I don't believe it's on a main... Is it a main event? Is that a main event? I don't think it is. Thiago Santos versus Jamal Hill. Is it a main event? You're right, it is a main event. No. It's a good fight, but at the same time, I do not believe that we should be throwing Thiago Santos into any more main events, honestly. MVP belt is the worst insult to any MVP belt is the worst insult to any athletic. You mean BMF belt? I would agree. Dana and the UFC are mad stingy. Yes, they are. If Max beats Volk, then UFC has to run Emmett versus Caterback. Yes, I would say, because they got to run a fourth fight. They have to run a fourth fight. If Max wins, I think they got to run a fourth. Who wins at lightweight 5 rounds, Conor versus Max? I'll say Max. I just don't see Conor being able to keep up with the pace of Max. He would have to KO him early, and I don't see that happening. Don't forget to like. Thank you, Muffy. What's next for Dariush if Dustin versus Justin gets signed? Maybe the winner of RDA versus Fiziev. I could see that happening. What was your live reaction to Conor versus Eddie? I was highly, highly annoyed. I picked Eddie Alvarez. I thought he would go out there and just spam the wrestling like he did against Anthony Pettis. But it was a phenomenal performance. Don't get me wrong. It was a phenomenal performance. Do you think Guram Kutateladze versus Joe Alvarez is the fight to make? I'd like it. Guram is a very good fighter, and so is Joe Alvarez. That is a fun matchup. Yeah, book that fight. I didn't even think about that, Jack, but yeah, book that. Would a rematch between Jones and Reyes be a good fight to bring Jones back? He's going to heavyweight, so it's not going to happen, my friend. But I wouldn't mind seeing it. If Jorge doesn't get Conor, who should he fight? I guess Gilbert Burns, maybe? Let me take a look. If Jorge doesn't fight Conor, Jorge should look for... If he doesn't fight Conor, he should try to get Nate. If he can't get Nate, he should try to get Nick, which isn't going to happen, I don't think. If I was Jorge, I would look for the Burns fight. I think that's your best chance. Welterweight is just so grappling heavy, and Jorge has, throughout the course of his career, has had issues with wrestlers. I mean, Kamaru Usman obviously is going to out-grapple him. Colby's going to out-grapple him. Obviously, we've seen that. Leon Edwards would probably out-grapple him and outstrike him. Hamzat's going to out-grapple him. Gilbert Burns is probably going to out-grapple him, but Gilbert at least said, I'll keep it standing. So there you go. That's what I think should happen. I think he's very smart pushing for the Conor fight. And it's funny because Conor talks shit nonstop, and he's been silent about it. The dude does not want Jorge Masvidal. It's the biggest fight that Conor can return to. And it's a semi-winnable matchup. More winnable than an Oliveira fight or, whoever else. One of the grapplers, Islam Makhachev or any of the matchups that he's talked about that he won't get. He's not said a word about Jorge from what I understand, or very little, because he does not want that fight. O'Malley, Umar Shore, who is better in order? That's a tough one, man. This is my personal opinion, but we don't have enough evidence for any of them yet. But I'll probably go Umar as number 1. O'Malley is number 2, Shore is number 3. But they're all very good, interchangeable. It's basically a 3-way tie. So don't hold me to that. What's up, Joey? Predictions on RDA Fiziev? I don't know. I flipped that one back and forth. I might go Fiziev. What's your honest opinion on Colby versus Hamzat fight? Who wins? Does it go to decision? I think Hamzat wins. I think Hamzat outstrikes him. I think it's a very competitive fight. I would be curious to see that. It better be a 5-round main event or a 5-round co-main or whatever. But I just think anyone that can stuff the takedowns of Colby has a chance to beat Colby. And Colby's striking is not that good, and I think Hamzat has a better striking game and has more power. And I think the wrestling will cancel each other out. Did you see Ronnie Yaya pulled out of the Garbrandt fight? It's probably too late to get a replacement at this point. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm hoping they just push that fight down the line. Could Conor beat Islam realistically? I guess anything's possible, puncher's chance, but I highly doubt it. I'm 95% sure that Islam would win that fight. But you never know. Conor's got power in that left hand. If Cannonier and Strickland won their next fight, how much are you excited for Cannonier versus Strickland for the middleweight belt? I much prefer Adesanya versus Pereira. There was rumors after the Green Islam fight that Islam would come in on short notice and fight RDA. If he would have happened, who would have won? I probably would have took Islam. But yeah, that was supposed to happen, but apparently Islam asked for more money. UFC wouldn't give it to him. I think Islam probably out-grappled RDA, but that'd be a tough one. RDA is a good grappler. People forget that because of what happened to him at 170 pounds. RDA facing hard times with Renato Fiziev is going to finish him early. Okay? I don't know if he faced hard times. I mean, it could have arguably been a doctor stoppage. But okay. Adrian Yanez is a good fighter, but I don't find his interviews or personality interesting whatsoever. I haven't only listened to a little bit, so I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's fine. Would you like to see Ferguson versus Hooker main event on a fight night? Also, I would actually like to interview Adrian Yanez, honestly. So maybe my interview would be better than what you thought. Would you like to see Ferguson versus Hooker main event on a fight night? I'm not too high on the Ferguson Hooker. I think it's because I want to see Ferguson Nate. If Adesanya beats Cannonier and the winner of Strickland versus Pereira, do you think he moves up to 205 again? No. But maybe. But I doubt it. I think he stays where he's at and keeps defending. Looking for new contenders. At that point, there'll be some new contenders like Munez or Imavov. Or, there'll be somebody. Chito Vera would smoke O'Malley again. I personally don't think it was a fluke at all. Dude, are you trying to get me started right now? Are you trying to get me started? Typical skeptic podcast. Is that what you're trying to do right now? But yeah. Cornbread was flash in the pan at best. Ben planted his face and closed his eye. I don't know what we're talking about there, uphill. Who wins, Paulo Costa or Kelvin Gastelum? As tough as it is for me to say, it's probably Paulo Costa. But you can never count Gastelum out, honestly, ever. Who wins, Beneil versus Turner, Gillespie versus Joe Alvarez? Gillespie probably gets guillotined. Turner's too hard to tell. He hasn't fought elite competition, so I'll go Beneil. Yeah. Joey going live at all times of the day. I love it. Every Wednesday at 6. Every Wednesday at 6 I go live, my friend. So, remember it. Mark it down. Which division will be most interesting in 5 years? Heavyweight or featherweight? I'll say featherweight. No way heavyweight ever becomes a deep division. It just doesn't happen. Those size athletes go to other sports. Who's the most boring fighter in the UFC in your opinion? Nick Maximoff. Gregor Gillespie versus Mark Madsen prediction. I'd probably go Gregor Gillespie. A little bit better striking would be my guess. Yep. Adrian Yanez versus Edgar. Who wins? Adrian Yanez boxes him up. Probably brutally finishes him, to be quite honest. I would say. Hold on. Ride or die, friends. Okay, Sammy, appreciate you. Strickland always looks for reactions, so he would say the most random stuff ever. Yeah, he consistently does that. He's always trying to get, a rise out of people for sure. And I always said that and thought that myself. But when I did the interview with Chris, he basically, filled me in and said, yeah, that's definitely it. So, who wins, Vera versus Merab? Merab. I think Vera would get out grappled. I mean, you're getting held down by Frankie Edgar. You're probably getting held down by Merab. If they made Ferguson versus Khabib on Tough, would you watch it? Yes. That'd be the one rare instance that they would draw me in for sure. What's going on, Alvaro? Appreciate you coming to the stream. Magny by split decision is my pick. Let's go. Fair enough. What age do you think UFC fighters slowly start to get out of their prime and start to decline? Probably about 35, I would say. Also, if they had a pay-per-view grappling match, would you buy it? Depends how much it was. I would know what would happen, but I'd probably just watch it anyway. I mean, who didn't want to see Khabib versus Tony? Even though I knew that Khabib would ragdoll him, I would still like to see it. So, Yanez versus O'Malley, I love that. And I think it's next since they want to baby step him. I doubt it. I don't think O'Malley's going to want that fight. I mean, Yanez called him out after the last fight. Book him. Bantamweight is so stacked you can afford to put some of these contenders against each other. Does Alex Pereira have a good chance against Izzy? I think he's gotten a little older, slower, possible cardio problems compared to Izzy. I think he's got a chance. I would probably pick Izzy, though. Where does Ortega go if he loses to Yair? Down the rankings? Maybe fighting a Bryce Mitchell or something along those lines, or maybe fighting like a Calvin Kattar. Joey, are you from Pittsburgh? I am, and your accent sounds familiar. No, I'm from Maryland. I'm from Maryland, my friend. So, O'Malley wanted it before. Yeah, what he says and the truth, probably somewhere in between, is the actual truth. Who would win, Chandler versus Khabib? Let's say Khabib never retired. Probably Khabib, but that'd be a tough fight because Chandler's so explosive and powerful early, and Khabib presses forward. That's how he gets his takedowns. And, you know, just stylistically, Chandler's a bad matchup for Khabib. Not saying Khabib wouldn't still take him down and control him, but yeah, you get the point. I'd probably still take Khabib, though. I think he would absorb the shots from. I think Khabib's got a great chin. I think he'd be a little bit more cautious. I think he'd wear Chandler down against the fence, eventually get him down, and probably beat him up on the ground and finish him via ground and pound, knock him out with ground and pound or something like that, something along those lines. It's early to say, but who wins between Umar and Merab? I'd probably take Umar. I'm very high on Umar. By the way, guys, after the stream, do me a favor. I have a prediction video for the main event, Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. Prediction video for the co-main event, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Neil Magny. Prediction for a main card fight, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Nate Maness. All on the channel. All on the channel. Go check them out after this stream. So, I would greatly appreciate it. Frankie Edgar should fight Rafael Sunsao. Loser goes home fight. Yeah, I would prefer Yanez to get a bigger fight, honestly. Artem Lobov versus Dylan Dennis. Prediction. Stop it. I don't even know. I don't care about either one of those guys. Hey, Joey, I rewatched Yair Holloway yesterday, and man, was it a good fight. Do you think Holloway looked as elite as he always does? And how good? I think Yair looked really good. The cardio looked great. I think Max pretty much looked the same. I think Yair just surprised us. What's a fight that looked really boring but was actually very good? And what's a fight that looked awesome but ended up being boring? That is a tough question that requires a lot of thought that I just don't have in me right now. A fight that was boring, that people called boring, but was actually very good. I feel like there was one that recently happened. A fight that kind of got overlooked was Billy Quarantillo versus Shane Burgos. That was a great fight, but it was right after Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. You get the point. So that one was a little bit overlooked. Did Khabib lose versus Tebow? I don't remember that fight all that good, but I'll say no. I saw your IG story that the UFC contacted you about your content. Yeah, pretty cool, Moses. How would Chandler versus Colby play out in a 5-rounder? I think Colby would win if he didn't get KO'd early. And I don't know if that power is going to translate to 170 pounds. Are you 28, 29? You were talking about Conor as if he's washed up like Tony. I think Tony's in a better spot than Conor. I mean, as far as skill set wise, I mean, not necessarily monetarily, but I'll take where Tony's at any day. Tony's looked better. You know, I know he's had issues, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I'm saying I think Tony, you know, I have a hot take on that one. I just think Tony's not washed. I think he's fighting elite level competition. And I also think if Conor fought that same elite level competition, he's not winning either. Glad I'm caught you live, bro. Yeah, you're going to beat up Ortega. Which division would you say is good and looks very attractive in the top 5, but 6 through 15 in the rankings isn't fun to watch? Probably heavyweight. Definitely heavyweight. Without looking at the rankings, so I usually watch Jeopardy around this time. How old are you, VT? How old are you? I'm curious. How much Jeopardy are you watching? Why is it that multiple divisions have number one contenders who can beat everyone except the champ? Welterweight, featherweight, middleweight. No idea. I think it's just the nature of the business. Out of these names, who is better, lightweights or bantamweights? Charles, Islam, Arman, Fiziev, Demir, Poirier, or Sterling, Yan, TJ, Aldo, Corey, Umar? Now my nose is itching really bad for my mustache. I'll say lightweight. Lightweight, because you threw... I mean, lightweight is just stacked. I think bantamweight is more stacked, but the names you mentioned, I would go with lightweight. It's a little bit better. What was your live reaction to Holloway screaming, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC" against Cater and still dominating at the same time? I don't think I really had a reaction too much, to be honest. But it was a great performance for sure. I think Chito Vera will brutally TKO Cruz. But will Cruz be stretchered out of the cage with no serious injury? And will he get flash KO'd as well? So, Jones versus Santos. What's the question there? Chris Curtis better win this weekend? I think he will. Artem Lobov versus Dylan Dennis prediction. Dude, I have no idea. They both lose to a bar bouncer, so I think T-Bow beat Habib. Habib couldn't get the takedowns and his striking sucked back then. Does it annoy you when some fighters never throw elbows in the clinch, only punches and even ground? I wouldn't say it annoys me, but, you know, it is what it is. Tony versus Conor would be fun at the moment. I agree 100%. Would Aldo in his prime have a chance against Habib, or is he too small? He's probably too small. But if Aldo was the same size as Habib, I would pick Aldo. I got to shave off my mustache, Dagestani style. Because this is getting annoying. Talking and my mustache is just tickling my nose the whole time. Misha Tate versus Ketlin Vieira was pretty good. I'm not even responding to that. Honestly, I think you underrate Conor. Maybe I do. No leg kicks is more annoying than no elbows. Yes. 24 every night, bro. You're a big fan, huh? What was your reaction if Dustin tapped in Conor versus Dustin 3 when Conor had the guillotine? Oh, that would have sucked. That would have sucked, but it would have been crazy. It would have been crazy for sure. And they would have never ran a trilogy. They would have never ran a fourth fight back. Lightweights. Chandler versus McGregor is probably the fight Dana might make. I don't think it makes it past the first round. Yeah, I think someone probably gets finished early. That's what I would guess. Oh, yeah, I rewatched Aspinall versus Arlovsky too, and I think Aspinall threw the fast 1-2 I've ever seen by a heavyweight. He's very, very fast. Tom Aspinall is very fast. Calvin Kattar versus Ortega Yair. Okay, the loser of that fight. I mean, really the winner of that fight either. I think Tony versus Conor is the fight to make. Ferguson was my favorite fighter. I get he was fighting elite competition, but the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu was nowhere to be found against Charles or Dariush. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Make Conor versus Ferguson. I'm scared of Volk might crack Holloway's chin just like Chandler and Tony. It is very possible. Why are you such a Conor and O'Malley hater? Just because I don't have the same opinion as you on them both doesn't make me a hater. Who you got, Colby versus Leon? Probably Colby, but I don't know. I might take Leon. It's a 50-50 fight there. Bantamweight is fire. You can literally shuffle up the top 15. You would end up with great fights. I agree 100%. Bantamweight is my favorite division in the UFC. I kind of want to see Bryce Mitchell versus Arnold Allen. I think Allen wins. Yeah, I probably favor Allen in that fight. Allen's super well-rounded. I think he would stuff the takedowns and outstrike him. But it'd be a very interesting fight. A producer that produces the UFC Countdown. Holloway can put Volkanovski out. He had him wobbled last fight. Yeah, and he dropped him with an uppercut, too. I see a lot of people saying Tony versus Conor is the fight to make. Money-wise, I see how it would be amazing. But Conor, he could actually lose that fight. I don't think it's smart for Conor at all. I mean, I think Tony's the most winnable fight for Conor. So if you're worried about him losing, who do you match him up with that he definitely wins? Cowboy Cerrone again? It makes me think that's why I like Jeopardy. Fair enough. Did Stefan Struve have a chance to be very good? What are your thoughts? I don't know. He never took advantages of his reach and height. So, no. He has a win over Stipe Miocic, though. How do you see Aspinall versus Ngannou going, or Aspinall gone, or too early to tell? I think Aspinall versus Ngannou is a 50-50 fight. I could see either guy getting knocked out. I think their wrestling probably cancels each other out. I see either Ngannou early or Aspinall late. Aspinall versus Gane is super hard to pick. I think that fight could go either way. I'd probably go Aspinall. I might even pick Aspinall against both of them. Volk gonna beat Max again? Yeah, I think so. No, stop. I don't think featherweight is too far behind bantamweight. I think they're neck and neck still. May very well be, but I think bantamweight's the best. Who's better in order? Fiziev, Arman, Demir. I'll say the exact order you have it in is what I like. Fiziev, Arman, Demir. You bring up O'Malley when talking about Cruz and Cheeto. You clearly don't like him. I actually don't really dislike Sean O'Malley. So, I don't know. Just because you don't like what I talk about doesn't mean I don't like him. Masvidal versus Conor would be fire. I agree. Is Tony washed, or is he just faded tougher and tougher competition? Yeah, I mean, of course there's been a slight decline in his skill set, but he's still fighting elite level fighters. So, Max didn't look great against Yair. I think Volk beats him convincingly this time. I agree, but we'll see. I'd love Tony versus Conor. Give Tony a well-deserved paycheck and a good fight. I agree. I'm with you. What would you like to see Nate Diaz fight next? Tony Ferguson. Gane has been wrestling with multi-Olympic medalists from France recently. Okay. Well, hopefully he improves his wrestling, because that was his downfall against Ngannou. Honestly, the fact Demir isn't ranked just shows you how good lightweight division is. I know, it's nasty. It's nasty, too. Thoughts on Holloway versus Williams matchup? Holland versus Williams. Williams. Who are we talking about there? I'm trying to think. Chaos Williams, maybe? Chaos is at welterweight. No, Holland's at welterweight now, too. I like that matchup. That's a good idea. Or Holland versus Pajeda. Holland versus Pajeda would be a lot of fun, too. I think I pick Aspinall against both as well. Dude is good, for sure. Bantamweight is deeper than featherweight. The top 10 is pretty even. There you go. Do you think DJ can come back and beat most flyweights in bantamweight division? No. Definitely not at bantamweight, but maybe flyweight. Who would you pick in a theoretical fight between Colby Covington and Charles Oliveira? Probably Charles by submission, but the size advantage is going to be massive. So probably Colby, actually. Yanez versus O'Malley prediction. I'd probably go O'Malley. I just think Yanez gets hit too much and O'Malley has more power. Let's say Colby got a fight against Woodley first over Usman. Would Colby have won that fight? Without a doubt, he would have dominated Woodley. Hope to see Volk beat Max, because Volk versus Emmett would be gas. I have no desire to see Volk versus Emmett, to be honest. Yair honestly looked really good in that fight. Props to him. And he won the 5th round. He would kill TKZ now. I agree. Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown is a fight to make. I don't think he should be fighting Sean Brady. He's going to lose to Sean Brady. That was a terrible call out. He would lose. Sean Brady would out-grapple Kevin Holland. Does Tony versus Nate hit the ground at all? I'll say yes, but not that much. I think Kai's going to beat Brandon. What is it? Are you asking me? Then I do not. I think Brandon Moreno will win that fight. Chaos Williams. Yep, that's what I thought. Trinaldo versus Holland. Who wins? Holland. I think Trinaldo's getting too old. Teddy Reiner is the guy he's been training with. Fair enough. Predictions on Smith Ankalaev. Probably spelled that wrong. I think you actually spelled it right, but I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not checking. I'd probably go Ankalaev, but Smith is a tough guy to beat for sure. A bigger judo legend is Kayla Harrison, supposedly. If theoretically Zudo went to 145 pounds, beat Volkanovski, would he be top 5 all time? Probably. Yep. I say Nate versus Tony. Now winner faces Conor. Set up that nice trilogy. I would love this. I would love that fight. So make that matchup happen. By the way, guys, look. You guys saw the community post. They're going to use a clip from one of my videos in the UFC Countdown. You would have known sooner than the community post, because as soon as I found out, I posted it in the community or the members only Discord. So if you want to become a member of the channel, I'm posting the link in the chat. It's $3 a month. members Discord, loyalty badges, custom emojis, and a bunch of extra stuff. I post a bunch of stuff in the members only Discord. You find out all the videos I'm working on. When I'm going to do a random live stream and stuff like that. I posted the screenshot of the email first there. So if you want to support the channel, if you sign up for 1 month, you'll be a member of the members Discord forever. You'll never be kicked out. So there's the link in the description, as well as I just posted it down in the chat if anybody wants to become a member. Okay, let's see. I don't want to see Holly Holm, Miesha Tate, and Laura Murphy ever. I think every time they're fighting, I go buy groceries. I'm dying. Who's more well-rounded, Usman or Volk? If you had to put $100 on one of these dudes to touch gold, who would it be? Whitaker, Colby, Dustin Poirier. I'd probably go Whitaker. But all of them are tough to get. I'd love to see Ferguson Diaz. Great match. Ferguson versus McGregor is cool too. I think Dana might not give Ferguson an easier fight or pay that. Yeah, for sure. How do we send fan mail? I don't have that set up, my friend. Why? What are you going to send me? What are you going to send me, Sammy? Does DC rank higher than Khabib in your all-time list? I haven't put that much thought into it, so I'm not sure. But maybe. Maybe. Am I the only one who doesn't want to see Nate versus Conor 3? Probably. Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio would be a fun fight. Book it. I would love that matchup. Why not? Why not? Also, guys, we got over 40 people in the chat right now. We got 20 likes. So go run up the likes on the chat. That's how more people end up finding this. So if we're going to reach 10K by the end of the year, I need you guys to like the stream. Come on, what's going on here? What is going on? Jack, yes, all of their fights have been all-time classics. Oh, you responded to the... I was trying to figure out what you were talking about there, but I know. I honestly can't make a pick between Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira, whatever his name is. She's got me slightly leaning towards Sean. Yeah, it could go either way, for sure. For sure. Do you think Cannonier is elite in at least one aspect of fighting? I think he's just really well-rounded, honestly. I don't know if anything you're like, oh, this is like incredibly world-class, but he's a great fighter everywhere. So take that for what you will. Diaz can submit Ferguson as Ferguson ground game is bad. We can see. I don't think anyone's submitting Tony. He's not tapping. He'll let you rip his arm off. I think after Volk beats Holloway, he would be the worst fight for Charles out of Chandler, Poirier, and Gaethje. Worst fight? Yes, I agree. For the longest time, I thought Leon Edwards behind you, not DC. Yeah, it's DC, my friend. I've showed the box a million times. Look at that box. And I'm not even like some huge DC fan. I like the autographed bobbleheads, and I thought this was pretty legit, so why not? And the box art is just amazing. Look at that box art. Look at that box art. Let's get it in focus. Look at that. Looking sick. But yeah. And the other one, hold on. This is Dustin Poirier. Let me get that to focus now. And these boxes are nice. They're collectibles in themselves. I don't even buy a fighter. Hold on. I don't even buy a fighter just because I like them or anything. If I if the fighter's a good fighter, I'd buy their autographed bobblehead just because I like to collect it. I also have never mind. I was gonna say I have a video on my members only showing all my MMA memorabilia. DC is more accomplished than Habib for sure. I would agree. Thoughts on Dana saying Usman has surpassed GSP? Smoke and crack, not even possible at this point. But he's getting there. He's slowly getting there. Do you think that questions like how do you feel and do you feel the pressure are a waste of time required in press conferences, especially what John Morgan does? I feel like it's breaking the ice. So you got to set up a PO box. I don't even know what he's sending me. I don't know. Somebody's Sean O'Malley lover is going to send a bomb to me or something. Will one day we see MMA Joey GOAT list? Probably not. I don't like the GOAT discussion at all, quite honestly. So Habib said he will rematch Conor if he can beat Islam. Do you favor in that fight? Also, Habib, he's not beating Islam, so that's why he's saying that. Who do you think wins Hermansson versus Till? Probably Till. If Till can't win that fight, he might as well retire. I will send you more glass water bottles and UFC art, to be honest. Where are you getting this UFC art at? But maybe in the future something I'll set up. I have no idea. I've never even thought of that, bro. I've never even thought of that. I don't even know how a P.O. box works. Who should Colby fight? Who should Cowboy fight next? He should retire. Romero versus Glover. Who wins? Glover. Do you think Pereira has improved nearly as much as Izzy since their last fight? How do you think Pereira looked against Silva? I think he looked beatable. So the answer probably no. Joey the GOAT. Thank you, Brain Explain. I appreciate it. Buffalo wings or BBQ wings? Buffalo wings. DC versus Glover right now, who would win? Glover. DC's gotten he's not in fight shape at all. DC, one of the greatest of all time, only lost to the best heavyweight and light heavyweight. I would agree. Would you change your high thoughts on Fiziev if he got out wrestled and submitted against RDA? Of course. I'm never married to any of these opinions. When I see more evidence, I'll change my opinion based on the evidence. DC won't make weight? Yeah. I will join your community in a few weeks. I need to be free all night, every night, and it's 3 a.m. here, and I need to watch from a laptop, not my phone. Okay, cool. Appreciate it, man. What grade did you give UFC 278 and 269 on paper? I don't think I actually graded those. I don't think I graded them. I think I started after the fact. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. Because it was one of my second videos. I kind of went through the card and talked about it, and then I kind of evolved it into a grading scheme. But I think I'll continue to be grading them from here on out. But 268 would have probably been like a B+. 269 maybe like a B-, maybe. If I'm just guessing here without looking at it again. Do you think that Sean O'Malley calf nerve injury is overblown? Seems like everyone is just talking about how Pedro has nice calf kicks that will neutralize O'Malley. Literally all they can say. Maybe slightly. But O'Malley has had consistent leg injuries. He had it in the Sukumata fight. He had it in the Chito Vera fight where he got brutally flash KO'd afterwards and then stretchered out of the cage with no serious injury. His legs were getting chopped even in the Chris Montino fight. And it looked like it was starting to bother him a little bit. So, overblown, maybe not, but a little bit exaggerated, yes. And I'm probably even guilty of it as well. But it is true that Pedro does have great kicks and O'Malley does have frail legs. So, I think it's fair analysis, to be quite honest. Do Gegard take the win this weekend? Probably. Send him a Dr. Daver, okay. Who do you favor in a Gaethje-Chandler rematch? Gaethje for sure. Does O'Malley beat any top 5 bantamweight? Does he beat any top 5 bantamweight? Marlon Vera, no. Corey Sandhagen, no. Jose Aldo, no. TJ Dillashaw, no. Nope. I had to go back and check and see who exactly was in the top 5. But after taking a peek, nope. A P.O. box basically spot at your local post office where they will hold your mail for you to pick up and you would pay monthly. I say. Yeah, so that wouldn't even be worth it for me to pay monthly to do that. I want to see Costa versus Cannonier. Who is one fighter that you think of that has robbed the scorecards every time it goes the distance? I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's one. I want to see. Oh, by the way, I would like to see this matchup too. Yeah, I'm not in a wheelchair though. That guy's disabled, so I don't. Okay. Does Cruz retire if he loses? Probably not. Thoughts on Rockhold versus Costa matchup? I think Rockhold can win, but I don't trust that chin at all. O'Malley has weak legs. All good kickers can beat him with pressure. Yeah, for sure. I've been calf kicked by my dog and shit's brutal. The dog's a unit. How's your dog calf kicking you? Kai Kara France versus 17 Francis Ngannou. Who wins? I think you mixed that up, but 17 Francis Ngannou's. Vera, yes, 3 rounds. Do you think Usman can out-wrestle Leon considering Usman have knee, back, hand injury? I think it's possible, but who knows? Yeah, for sure. LOL. I think 135 is kind of a free-for-all right now. Everyone in the top 10 or even 15 is a championship material. Anyone could be anyone on any given night. What do you think? I would agree 100%. Bantamweight is the most stacked division in all the UFC. I mean, you look at the bantamweight division. Aljamain Sterling, Piotr Jan, TJ Dillashaw, Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Vera, Merab Dvalishvili, Rob Font, Dominic Cruz, Song Yudong, Pedro Munoz. So, no. Then actually I disagree with you now that I think about it. After the top 5, there's a little tiny drop-off. Rob Font's not going to win a belt. Dominic Cruz is not going to win a belt. Song Yudong remains to be seen. And Pedro Munoz is not going to win a belt. But all elite level fighters. I'm surprised Frankie Edgar's still in the 11. I still think there's fighters that are outside the top 15 that could arguably be in the top 10 had they had more fights in the UFC. If that makes sense. Let me see what I got going on here. Random. Whew, that's tough. Okay, back to the stream. Is Khamzat getting the winner of Leon Usman? Probably one fight in between there. And if he does win, he will probably fight to win. So he'll probably fight Bilal or Colby. And then if he wins that fight, he'll fight the winner of Usman versus Leon. Who does Arman fight next once he wins? Let me take a look at the rankings real quick. If Arman wins, he's sitting at number 11. He would beat number 12. There's not really a lot of options. I don't want to see him fight Tony Ferguson. He would have to fight someone in the top 5 at that point. Maybe Gregor Gillespie. Gregor Gillespie's not in the top 5. He's not even in the top 15. But I think Tsarukyan will jump up to like number 8. I think Tsarukyan with a win tomorrow could probably jump in front of Conor at number 8. And then Gregor Gillespie would have to take that fight if offered to him. So if not, he could fight the winner of... I mean, all these guys in the top 5, top 6, none of them want to fight back. Nobody wants to fight Tsarukyan. No one wants to fight Gamrot. So he's going to get a spot in the rankings and then, up in the top 10, and then people are going to have to fight him. Imagine they book Conor McGregor versus Tsarukyan next after this win, if he does win. What makes fighters from former Soviet nations like Georgia, Kazakhstan, Russia, etc. so damn tough? I don't know. I guess it's their upbringing. I don't know, though. Name the featherweight rankings. I may lean featherweight slightly. Name the what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to say the top 10? Evloev, Bryce Mitchell, Giga, Arnold Allen, Chan Sung Jung, Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, Yair, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski. I think the top 10 and top 10 are pretty equal, but bantamweight has more depth, if that's what you're talking about here. Who is a dream press conference you like to say? Probably a mix of fights between Conor, Tony, Colby, Diaz. Throw all them on a press conference. Song Yudong's one of my favorite names in MMA. Okay. Do you care about the venue that the UFC fights are held in? Not really, but I do prefer the crowd. How is Sean O'Malley's grappling? I feel like if he fights guys like TJ Sterling, he get dominated with the wrestling. It remains to be seen. We haven't really seen too much of Sean O'Malley's grappling. So, it remains to be seen. Will we get Sugar versus Sandman this year? I'd love that matchup, but probably not. Arman versus Dariush would be a good matchup if he wins. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know if Dariush is going to want it, though. Name 6 bantamweights who are better than these 6. Charles, Islam, Fiziev, Arman, Dustin, Demir. Dude, that's too much of a question. I can't do that right now. Thoughts on Guram versus Alvarez matchup? Love that matchup. That's a phenomenal lightweight matchup. And it would be a great test for both guys. And Guram is just so jacked. I mean, I rewatched this fight, and he is just jacked. It's crazy. Who is your favorite boxer of all time? I don't watch boxing, so I'll say Anderson Silva. I don't know, because he's boxing now, even though I don't watch him. But What is the best fighter as champions for the UFC? What is the best fighter as champions for the UFC? I don't know what the question is there. I'm confused, man. I started to watch your videos after that Fabio mess. I thought Fabio fought Chris Montino, who might win. Who might win? Chris Montino would definitely win. Let's say O'Malley beats Pedro in a flashy KO decision just as his other performance. Do you have him beating Sandhagen or Cheeto? I would have to see the performance, but maybe. It depends. When Guram was fighting, everyone in the arena was rooting for him. They were pissed at the decision. I wonder why that was. Let me scoot up a little bit because now I'm sliding back. That's kind of a weird, Texas rooting for Guram. I mean, over Demir. Like, I wonder what the reason behind that was. Do you believe Oliveira has a real chance against Islam? Yeah, I think I favor Oliveira to win that fight by submission. I think Colby wants the winner of Leon and Usman without having to fight Hamzat. That's why he might be keeping quiet. Could very well be. He's been radio silent. So, do you think Cody beats Cruz because Uriah trained him specifically for the Cruz fight? Do you think Cody beat Cruz? No, I just think it was Cody Garbrandt has good skills, and it was just a bad matchup for Cruz, which is crazy because I thought Cruz was a bad matchup for Cody Garbrandt. I was dead wrong on that one. Like, the whole section of people with Georgian flags was weird, very weird. That's crazy. I didn't even know that. It's crazy to see isn't it crazy to see generations change? Like how Tyron Woodley looked so scary at welterweight champ. Then Usman brought us into this era. Now we got people like Hamzat and Shavkat on the come up. I know. It really is crazy. And everyone thought Woodley was going to beat Usman. I picked Usman in that fight. I specifically remember I picked Usman. But everyone was picking Woodley in that one. Usman went out there and dominated him from start to finish too. Just beat him up badly. But it is weird, the new era. Where it used to be Woodley, Lawler, Damian Maia, Darren Till, Wonderboy Thompson, all at the top of the welterweight division. And now, it's completely different at this point. You have some familiar faces in there, but not many. Is it me or is the lightweight prospects better than the top 10 right now? I think that's a bit of a stretch, but it's possible. Guram, I think, is a championship level fighter. Demir is a championship level fighter. Fiziev is a championship level fighter. Arman is a championship level fighter. Gamrot's a championship level fighter. There's so many elite level prospects. Let me just put it that way. Elite level prospects. Can you see Max Holloway going to 135? No, he's not going to 135. He'd go to 155. Worse. Demir shows so much better technical skill than Chandler, Gaethje, Dariush. Fair enough. Shavkat versus Colby. I would love to see that. How are you, Joey? I'm good. How are you, Sammy? No way, Matt. Yeah, agree. Who you got? Who I got and what? Oh, Shavkat versus Colby. I take Shavkat. I'm very high on Shavkat. He's super well-rounded. Same with Arman and Guram. I don't know what we're talking about. All those elite level prospects you've named are the biggest no-namers I've ever heard. Yeah, well, you got to pay attention, my friend. They're all the future of the division for sure. Guram Kutaladze, Damir Uzmagulov, Rafael Fiziev, Arman Tsarukyan, Mateusz Gamrot, and there's probably other ones that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. So let's actually do a quick poll. I haven't done a poll the whole entire chat. So let's do a quick poll real quick. Best lightweight prospect. Let's do that poll. Best lightweight prospect. Let's do Demir, Guram, Arman. Who else were we just talking about? Fiziev. Oh, no. Fiziev. I don't even know how to spell Fiziev. I think that's how you spell it. I'll do Demir. I'll get rid of Guram. Just lost to Demir. I'll get rid of Guram and throw Gamrot in there. So, if you want to vote for Guram, just put it in the chat. Because I can only have a couple options there. Let me see something real quick. Okay, there we go. By the way, guys, on the StreamYard, I don't have the banner up. I never just took the time to make it. But if you want to, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MMA Joey C. I would greatly appreciate it. But go vote in the poll. Go vote in the poll as well. But at MMA Joey C. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. There. There are almost no flaws in Demir's game outside of his twitch. Yeah, Chandler does have bad outfight IQ. Who's next for Colby? Do you think that his fight against Masvidal was an inside joke? And do you think Masvidal is a bad actor? I'll say no. I don't think it was real. I think Vazeev would lose to Brad Riddell if he didn't land that kick. Nah, he was winning the decision. Can we get a poll for Diaz's next opponent? Yeah, I guess so. In a minute. Remind me in a minute. Niles, just remind me in a few minutes, actually. Any top 10, 15 light heavyweights you see competing in the title picture soon? Let me take a look because I can't remember everyone at this point. MMA. Let me take a look. What was the question again? It was light heavyweight? Light heavyweight, yes. Okay, let's take a look. Anybody at light heavyweight? Anybody at light heavyweight top 10 to 15? Jamal Hill, and that's it. Jamal Hill, and that's it. Habib is cool and all, but he believes God that thinks women are men's possession. Okay, it's not something I really want to talk about on here. I don't know what his beliefs are. I don't pay attention to that. Fazeev, Arman, Damir, Guram, Gamrot. Okay? When does someone not consider a prospect anymore? I have no idea. I have a hard time distinguishing that myself. Arman, hands down. Had to go with Arman. The way he dismantled Joel Alvarez was actually hard to watch at times. It was brutal. The way he was busting him up with the elbows. Don't forget Brad. He beats half those guys. Okay? There you go. Let's see what you guys are voting for. Everyone's voting for Arman. Okay, I'll show that. Damir got 5%, Gamrot got 14%, Arman got 50%, Fazeev got 32%. I got to trim my mustache. This is driving me nuts and actually really annoying. But, yeah, I think I'll leave it up for a little bit longer. But, yeah, I think for me, it's probably Arman. I mean, I picked Arman against Gamrot. So, honestly, if you're in the top 10, you're not even a prospect anymore. Yeah, you're probably right. So Fazeev would be counted out. I'm not sure he wasn't winning. I'm sure he wasn't winning. Okay, I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I'm a little late. Sorry if I missed it, but I never wanted to see Nate fight blank. I really don't like him. I want to see Nate fight for the UFC. BS, he doesn't have a fight. Yeah, we talked about it early in the beginning, but basically I would rather see Nate stick around the UFC. There's plenty of fun fights for him. It was 1-1 going into the third. Okay, and he slapped him in the third. What's up, Joey? Had an amazing 30th birthday. Happy B-Day to me. Blessings, y'all, the man, Joey. Happy birthday, White Magic, man. I'm glad you had a good 30th birthday. Happy birthday. Everyone throw it in the chat. Happy birthday to White Magic. Come on, we happy birthday someone's wife earlier in here. So let's say happy birthday to White Magic in the chat, just for shits and giggles. Arman beat Oliveira. I don't know about all that. That's getting a little bit ahead of yourself. Arman, Damir, Fazeev in that order. Arman has no weaknesses. Damir and Fazeev would probably get taken down and controlled. I think there's a chance that Arman gets out-grappled by Gamrot. I think there's a chance. Just saw the rankings for lightweight. It's pure garbage. When does this lightweight division get this shallow? I don't think it's that shallow. I think you got a lot of old guys coming up or getting on the way out, if that makes sense. Honest, I thought Jake Paul, he was a piece of shit back when. Still kind of can back up. That gave me a brain aneurysm reading that. I can't even respond to that. Technical skill-wise, Arman is better than Fazeev, but I think Fazeev would find a way to hurt him and win. Massive switch kick. Also, Arman's not like this. I mean, he's a good grappler, but against guys who have deficiencies. Like, I think there's a chance that Gamrot could out-grapple him. But Arman's a good scrambler, though, so I don't know. I don't see that happening. I did a full breakdown and prediction on the channel. You can see my full thoughts. Prospect unranked 15-10 up-and-comer. Fair enough. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Couldn't imagine seeing Dana White in the boxing gloves and not being able to stick out his middle finger. Yeah, I'd much rather I'd prefer to see him, I'd much prefer him to see him fight in MMA again. Happy birthday, happy birthday. I think our man would get taken down by Gamrot, but not fully out-grappled. Yeah, I think Gamrot has the grappling advantage. Sweeping him from bottom. How do you feel about Muhammad Brady on the UFC 278 card? If Leon Usman pulls out, these guys fill in. I think that makes sense. Can we stop talking about, yeah, true. How many of O'Malley's last 5 opponents are still in the UFC? Let me take a look. Let me double check that. Let me just take a double check real quick. Sean O'Malley. Let's take a look. I believe it's 1. But let's take a look. Last 5 opponents. Raulian Paiva, still in the UFC. Chris Montino, not in the UFC. Thomas Almeida, not in the UFC. Marlon Vera, still in the UFC. Eddie Wineland, not in the UFC. Jose Alberto Quinones is not in the UFC. Andre Sukumata, not in here. Tafirian Ware, not in there. So he has 2 opponents who he's fought who are still in the UFC. One of them he has a loss to where he was his legs were brutally chopped. Then he was shucked to the ground, brutally flash KO'd with ground and pound elbows, and then stretchered out of the cage with no serious injury. So he's 1-1 against UFC opponents who are still in the UFC. So we'll see if he can get a win. We'll see if he can get a win against Pedro Munoz in his next fight. Only time will tell. Diaz has decent striking against grappling heavy opponents, but I doubt they actually win a boxing fight. They fight like high AF. So lazy like. Okay. Just want to give thanks to MMA guys for these banger cards recently. Even Bellator has a good main card this week. Yeah, I'm debating. I might do a live stream for it. It's Def 1. What do you think about Jesse on Fire? I don't really have any thoughts on him, really. I'm not a big, from what I've seen, I haven't seen a lot. It's like a TMZ type, MMA coverage. So that's really not for me. There's a market for that for sure. But for me personally, not for me at all. So there's my thoughts. Is it just me? Or is the light heavyweight champ really, really bad at fighting? No, I think it's just you. I agree. You think Gamrot takes down and passes Arman's guard. He's an Olympic wrestler. Arman is such a good kickboxer, though he's only 25. He can make the improvements necessary to get a belt. I'm going to have to get off here because my nose is itching. I'm going to shave my mustache. Who's the top 15 welterweight can have a chance to defeat Usman? Hamzat Chimaev, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Joey, do you say stretcher out of the cage with no serious injuries in your sleep? Yeah, I need to make a shirt that just says no serious injuries with a picture of a stretcher on it. Sell it to you guys. Tony, if goes to Eagle FC and challenge Habib, it's going to happen. I think if win there and tough, I would finally watch it. Yeah, I would agree. Tsarukyan is a problem. I think he has a bad matchup for Oliveira. I retried watching Joel Alvarez fight. Thought he could call end of round 1. Yeah. Have the worst fans in MMA in their chats, in my opinion. Well, I hope you don't think that about my chat, my friend. Connor's boxing looks weird and ineffective with boxing gloves, and he's like 5 times more powerful and accurate than Diaz. Yeah. Raulian Paiva went from fighting Sean O'Malley to being on the prelims this weekend. Yeah, people elevated him. They falsely elevated him so that they could pretend like it was a good win for O'Malley. Shevchenko is legit. Ngannou legit. Adesanya legit. Usman legit. Every other champ sucks. That's a terrible take. Diaz with boxing gloves would be like pillows. Yeah, probably. I don't think I would mind if Sean O'Malley, if it wasn't so overrated. I get he's flashy and looks cool, but man hasn't beat anyone of note. I agree. Volkanovski, best MMA channel that isn't yours. I wouldn't say mine anyway. I'm not like that. I don't watch a lot of them. I guess James Lynch. I don't think he does enough opinion content, which is what I like. But I like his Q&As. I like his interviews. And he's given me some advice with certain things. So James Lynch. Is Hamzat the betting favorite against Usman? Probably. And what do you think the odds will be? I have no idea. I'm not an expert on odds. Snaggy, what about Volkov? I think MMA Guru, but his chat is cancerous. Yeah, I've heard that a lot from people constantly talking about that. I'm the same. I actually like Guru, but the chat is killer. It's because he allows people to spam. More like Jesse, maybe if he was literally on fire, he'd be watchable. But has some weird takes on in real life things. Do you think Yan Glover or Yuri would have any chance beating Jones? No. Yeah, and guys, let me know what channels do you watch? What like smaller channels do you watch? Not like, plus over 100,000 subs. What other small MMA channels do you watch? That is actually really infuriating right now. Volkanovski is legit. You're right. Max is pretty damn close to him. UFC using your clip. Next thing you know, you'll be telling us you're commentating the next pay-per-view. Yeah, Joe Rogan's out. I'm stepping in. New Joe stepping in. Joey, I know you upset Murphy Tate on the main card, but UFC wants... I know. I said it. I said it in the video. Would you like... Would you like if Fight Nights targeted hardcore fans permanently like this card and pay-per-view target casual fans? I don't really care. I just want a decent fight card, whatever it is. Should interim belts be silver or old design? Silver. Yuri beats Jones? Absolutely not. What was the deal with Phil Halls and Daniel Cormier? Apparently he was saying Daniel Cormier was biased because he's friends with, what's his name? That's it. I like full-time MMA. He doesn't upload enough. Okay. I'm glad you don't care about betting odds as much. Can't stand hearing he's plus 400. This means he will lose. Yeah, I don't like that. I've talked about it so many times on the channel. It's like, I don't talk about it too much anymore, but it's like, for me as a fan, like, just watching and hearing, oh, this guy's plus 500 and this guy's plus 100 and I'm taking this dog and I'm taking this favorite and this and that. I'm going to drop some money on this. I'm not into all that. And also, I feel like it clouds your judgment. When you're starting to put bets on fights, like crazy, like constantly, and on every fight card, on all the fights and this and that, making 6-7 bets, I feel like it clouds your judgment. I'm not really into gambling too much because at the end of the day, they're going to win. They're going to take your money back some way or another. I might win 20 grand this year. Next year, they'll get me for 25 grand. So I'm not a big gambler. I'm not big into gambling talk. I just like to just have some, legit analysis. Kind of leave betting out of it for the most part. Sometimes we'll talk just about odds a little bit, but I don't fully understand them. But I'm not a big fan. There's a lot of just MMA channels that are just 100% gambling centric, and they don't even talk about really the sport itself. I find it's unwatchable for me. Is it just me or is Bellator getting really good? I think Patricky and the other black dude might be the best lightweights right now. They're better. They've always been decent. Fight Night picks. Those two guys are some UFC nerds in the best possible way. They know little facts about everyone. Fair enough. Morning Combat. Weasel Guru Jesse. Gamrot will win. Fair enough. MMA Heavy WGT. It's time for Sports and Combat TV or is a must. Okay. Hot take. Volkanovski's the only one who can beat Oliveira. Maybe. Any Mexican martial arts followers here? There you go. For Pacific MMA news. Oh, the other one you just said? Okay. All legitimate fight analysis pays attention to the betting odds. This stuff matters in terms of perception for people who actually put money where their mouth is. Okay, Snaggy. Okay, man. I got Volk beating Oliveira as well. Never seen a man as skilled in MMA as Volk. King of Crackdown. MMA is consistent as well. Never even heard of it. MMA Joey. I've never bet on UFC fight. I just enjoy the sport. Same here. I have bet though. But very, very rare. Honestly, if you're a big enough fan, you should know who you think will win without the odds. Exactly. Umar, round 2 sub. I don't want to pick against your boy Chris Curtis. He has a good chance. Was he a welterweight? Yeah, Chris has fought at welterweight before. UFC betting is kind of fun if you're not spending a ton of money. Yeah, I'm sure. Your thoughts on Andre Muniz? I'll be doing a breakdown and prediction of his fight against Uriah Hall later this week, Thursday or Friday. So tomorrow or Friday. Joe, you ever heard of Cash Combat Sports? No, I have not. How do you think Khabib will do against the current 170 top 5? I think he loses. As a fan, you should have a gauge on what the odds are. I'm degenerate MMA gambler, $50 a week. MMA Guru, he's always dialed in. Jesse on fire. JoJo allegedly, and I circle between this 4, including yours. Fair enough. I think Khabib loses to Burns, Usman, Hamzat, but beats Leon and Colby. I think he loses to Leon and Colby. YBB Sports Data, thank you for the $10 donation. Appreciate your super chat, my friend. Just supporting. It means a lot, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. The Weasel only does breakdowns based on odds. It's glorious. Well, go watch The Weasel then, my friend. I haven't bet, but I'm interested. Usually odds are against my picks. Yeah, I just never been if there's something crazy, sometimes I'll do something, but I'm just not a big fan. I'd rather have a friendly bet, like even money with a friend, than bet, with some odds or anything like that. Volk wants Oliveira to do what he think. Volk wants Oliveira, but do you think he would want to fight Islam Makhachev if he becomes champ? Yes. I think he'll fight either one. And by the way, man, this Sports Data, this is the first time I've seen you in a live stream, man. So I appreciate you. I don't know if you just found the channel or you've been lurking for a while or what it was, but man, I appreciate it. Thank you for the $10. Odds are irrelevant. Just pick who you think will win. Exactly. Yeah, I guess so. I think Shevchenko needs to fight for the bantamweight champ. What's up, my boy MMA Joey? Wonder which part of the video they'll use because I think what you said did not fit their narrative. Yeah, I don't know. Probably something early in the beginning. That would be my guess. But yeah, I complained about interim title fights. I know. When I went back and listened to it, I was dying laughing. I was dying. It was hilarious. The Weasel's very good. Odds matter. Okay. There you go. Odds matter. Can we stop talking about odds? I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes, and then I am out of here. We've gone for an hour and 21 minutes. We usually go about an hour and 15, hour and a half. Dave Brown, steady lurking. Who else is in here lurking? Who else is in here lurking right now? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Went down the wrong hole. Well, now I can't talk. Okay, now I'm dying on stream, guys. That's what happens when you drink too much water. So you think Kai Kara France is being underrated for his upcoming fight against Moreno? Maybe slightly, but not crazy. Nothing crazy. I think Brandon Moreno wins. Thoughts on Kai Kara France Moreno rematch? I think Moreno's just better everywhere and wins the fight. Do you think Volk makes quick work of Max? He will fight for the lightweight championship later this year? No, I hope not. I need to see Islam versus Charles Oliveira. I used to be in the boxing community, but it's so toxic. Yeah, there's a lot of toxic communities. You attract what you want to attract. And I know the MMA community in general gets a bad rap, and there is a lot of toxic MMA communities as well. But you can see what we've got here. I've attracted what I've wanted to attract. And that's, the people who are crazy or outlandish, we just get rid of them here. So appreciate you doing the long stream, Joey. I try to make them all, but I miss every couple. I miss a couple every now and then. Just hopped in, so now I'm kind of lurking. Appreciate you. Go hand lurking. Appreciate you. Just watching. I always appreciate you. And don't forget to like the stream before you go. I'm going to end it in a few minutes. So if you guys have any, last minute questions, throw them in the chat. Is Tuivasa versus Gane official? Same with Aspinall Stipe. Aspinall is fighting. No. Yeah, Tuivasa is fighting Gane. Aspinall is fighting. Who's Aspinall fighting? It is Aspinall's fighting Curtis Blades. For some reason, I could not think of it. Usually watch replays of these like a podcast while hanging around the place. Night being here for a live. I appreciate you, man. I'm glad somebody rewatches them. Brandon Moreno is just an average elite fighter. They can win or lose. Average elite doesn't go together. I'm picking Kai to win. Sorry for showing up late. My internet was out, but I love to see you. Appreciate it. Where did you get that little blue light? It looks cool. It's a Phillips Hue bulb. Kai Kara France can definitely win. His boxing is wicked. I agree. How much did Bryce Mitchell surprise you with his performance against Edson? I was very surprised. I thought Edson would win that fight. Recently started BJJ. Have you ever taken a martial arts before, Joey? No, I have not. This channel is genuine, and even the UFC recognizes real. Recognize real. Thank you. Appreciate you, Niles. Does Alex Pereira have a legit chance of dethroning Izzy? I think his record currently is 5-1. I would say yes, but it's hard to say. Tuivasa being ranked that high is criminal. Almost lost to Greg Hardy. Does Ankalaev beat Smith? Yes. Did the hype for Joel Alvarez die after he got destroyed by Arman? Yes. Boxing fights are so hard to be made. Yeah. I've never been a fan of boxing just because it seems like nothing ever that people want gets actually made. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like the stream. Thank you guys for the donations. I'll probably be live maybe Friday for Bellator. If not, I'll definitely be live Saturday for the fights. So I appreciate you guys all for joining me on this live stream. And enjoy the rest of your night. And I'll talk to you guys.